What we'll be going over today is recruiting from the staffing agency perspective. So even if y'all are a corporate, all 6 of us here, if y'all are just hiring for yourselves, this is still going to apply to you. If you are doing staffing addition stuff, that's perfect. This obviously applies for you. Quick introduction though, I'm Josh. I'm a pre-sales engineer here at Zoho. So for those who don't know what pre-sales is, basically you call, if any of y'all have gotten a demo, that's what I do. You call the sales rep schedules demos with me. And so I get into essentially the fun stuff is what I like to call it, and actually talk about the software. I do a little bit of more how-to support as well. So like how to make my emails work. We get to go through some of that fun stuff as well. But that said, what we will be talking about today, like I mentioned, there's kind of 2 sides to this: the corporate usage of Zoho Recruit and the actual client management as well, the staffing edition side of Recruit. So we're going to go through both of those sides, and then we're also going to go over a key piece right at the end. I do want to talk to y'all a bit about how we can run the rest of our business in Zoho, because there's a couple of important things there. Now, just to kind of get us a good mental picture, for those of you who are hiring, whether for yourselves or for somebody else, what is the biggest issue that we generally have? I would say the biggest issue is generally clutter, right? And I actually typed in with a capital T and was overruled because everybody said that doesn't make sense. So it's with a capital C, but it's clutter nonetheless, right? We look and it's just like, well, okay, well, first I've got job boards that I need to post to. I have a new job posting to throw up online, and I've got Monster, Craigslist, Dice, all of these different places that I'm going to go post. And you may be saying, Josh, that's totally fine because, LinkedIn's going to notify me every time somebody sends in an application. And it's like, that's absolutely true. And that's wonderful. But here's the frustrating part is LinkedIn does it, and so does Dice. And so you're going to get so many notifications, right? And then where are you getting these notifications to, right? Hopefully it's not SMS. Hopefully it's not through push notifications on your phone, because that would be obnoxious. Hopefully it's at least through email. But then let's start thinking about it. I mean, when I start getting emails, I may get an email for a role that I posted a year ago, right, that I forgot to take offline. That's an issue. I may have a resume from a great applicant from a year ago that just didn't make the cut on that one job, and they're great for the job that I currently have, but I have no idea who that person is because I spoke to them a year ago. So now I'm just scrolling through my inbox trying to find somebody if I'm able to remember them, right? So really what we see is just we're working out of our email mainly, just trying to hope we remember the right candidates when we have the right jobs. So what are we going to do with all of that? We'll actually just kind of scrap all of those, scrap the individual postings and things like that, and just use Zoho Recruit. So how is Zoho Recruit actually going to make our life better? So I do have the left-right thing, the comparison. So I have the ad hoc approach where we're basically living out of our email inbox, and I have our Zoho Recruit. So with our ad hoc approach, I've already mentioned, you have these multiple boards that we're posting to. How do we fix that with Zoho Recruit? First, it's going to be these openings, right? So if I hop into Zoho Recruit, we have these job openings. Now, job openings are going to be great for a couple of reasons. One, of course, there's the job board declutter that we're going to be able to do and just post from here. But not only that, we're not reinventing the wheel when we have a new job posting to throw online, right? If we're hiring an accountant, we're hiring an accountant. We're not expecting it. We need you to be an accountant and do cartwheels. That's never a requirement. So we don't need to retype that every single time we have a job posting. So when I'm ready to go create a new job opening, I can come in and use these templates and just keep it really simple. I need a registered nurse. Great. Registered nurse title added. Notice all the required skills. They need CPR, obviously, communication, the important things that are going to be needed. Throw those skills in there inside of our template so they're already saved. Right? What's the industry, right? And now I get to go through and customize the salary, throw that in there. What work experience? I need somebody 5+ years, so on and so forth. But then of course, the dreaded job description that we have to write out. If you're a staffing agency, of course, you're going to have to do that for multiple companies. But again, it's very simple generally to save these in a template. So I don't have to go in and type this out every time I have a new job opening. Now, for those who are staffing agencies, y'all are going to have a clients module in here to manage the people that we're actually getting jobs from that we're trying to hire for. So we can throw our clients in here and just choose, okay, I've got Extra Life LLC here, and they're hiring a new person. Has Brett as a contact in here, and Brett is the actual person I communicate with. So when Extra Life reaches out to me, Extra Life isn't in person. Brett is the one who's actually contacting me. So who's the main person that I want to reach out to when I'm ready to post a new job, or excuse me, when I'm ready to move a candidate along and get them over to my client? Brett is the person I'm reaching out to. So I'm able to throw all this information in there, make it a remote job, throw the city, all of this basic info, and go ahead and post this. And this is where those job boards come back into play, because when I'm ready to post, there's ZipRecruiter, boosted posts, great. I've got Google in here. If I want LinkedIn, if you got your LinkedIn premium account, of course you can link that right in here. And now I can post on all of these different job boards. So this is the first big problem that Zoho's solving for you in your mess of cluttered emails, right? That problem of, I've got all these job boards, I've got applications. This is great. When somebody submits an application on all of these places we just posted to with one click, now those are all saved inside of Zoho Recruit. Now, what's the next piece that generally frustrates us? And those are going to be all of those applications and the candidates that I'm tracking, right? How do they reach out to me? How do I reach out to them? All right, how do I see that this application is for this specific job posting or job opening, right? And like I just mentioned, when somebody submits that on all these other job boards, great, it's going to come right into Zoho Recruit, automatically associate to that job opening. But here's something that's really unique with Zoho, is we give you the ability to build a career site. And now you can see here, somebody asked a question along these lines of, how can I relay to the customer kind of where they are in our pipeline? Again, that's in our pipeline of our roadmap of features that we're going to come out with. But this is very new as well, is I can sit and say, okay, well, I want to show off once I've closed this position, it still stays inside of my career site when people actually hop in and submit applications, but they're still able to see if this application, if this job opening is still open, can they still apply? They see all of that information there. But once I'm ready, I go ahead and post this on a job board. Not only that, I have assessments that I can create inside of Zoho Recruit. So now when it comes to candidate tracking, what's the stuff that we always have to get from our customers? Are you available to work in the United States? Are you a protected veteran, right? Or just, I want to know about you. How long have you been doing, when did you graduate high school? Whatever bits of questions that we might ask somebody, a candidate, we can go ahead and throw those in an assessment. And I can have multiple in here for people to choose from, or for y'all to choose from, and then have these people fill this in as they come to our career site. Now I keep talking about the career site. Let's go ahead and hop in there real fast. And what's also great about this is once I've created this job opening, you just saw the link in there. I go ahead and send this out. If I want a mass email to candidates that I already have inside of my system, that's too easy because I'm going to have them all sitting inside of their candidates module there. Now hopping into this career site, notice I'm already logged in. This is me logging in as a customer, and I'm going to have an entire profile. I get to log in, change my email address, change my password, come and see all of the applications that I've submitted, any saved jobs that I have in here, just from the jobs that you guys have posted on your actual site. Now, just as an individual, I get to update all the other information of address, what are my education details, right? And it's a really nice page, easy to edit this stuff as needed. All right, and then of course, go in and add my skills, right? And you can see Brett here. Brett has been a communicator for 25 years, but seeing as Brett was born in 1996, it's like, okay, that doesn't count, Brett. But we do see Brett has at least a couple of skills and his resume uploaded in here. So he can always come in and change this as needed, right? So now, how does this help us? We're no longer trying to track down candidates to get extra information. We can send them the link to the career site and they can update stuff themselves. Now, let's say Brett is ready to apply for one of these jobs that I've opened. Let's go for that registered nurse from a moment ago. Where'd we go? All right, Brett wants to apply to the registered nurse position. Great. First thing, all of Brett's information, because he already has a profile, is loaded up in this career site. But not only that, Brett is also going to be able to come in and take that actual, trying to talk while I type, not very good at it, but we made it. He's going to actually be able to take this assessment to get all of his information right inside of the system, right? So now when it's time for me to go and start filtering through all of the different applications, I already have something that I can take and go in and review, have all of that information. Oh, Brett is a protected veteran. Great. Then maybe we give him an extra star on our rating or something like that. So now I get to go in and check, okay, well, what kind of job openings? What do I have going on? Let's look at our sales executive position that's open for Extra Life LLC. And I can see I've got a couple of people, 4 stars, 2 stars. let me go ahead and rate Brett here based off of all of his information. Oh, we're currently employed. Yes. So he's seeking greater opportunities. He has a master's degree. That's pretty good. We know he wants to continue his education, right? So we have all of his basic information, including his resume. And again, this is what you guys are seeing now back inside of Zoho Recruit. So now whenever I'm ready, go ahead and submit a review. And I can move Brett through these different statuses. We talked a bit about the pipeline that our candidates can walk through on job openings, whether it's the job opening or the individual. We talked a bit about that last session, so I'll briefly mention it here. But of course, you do have that pipeline. So after I'm done reviewing, if this person is really great and I'm just ready to start planning an offer, I go ahead and move them here based on my review and my overall comments. Brett is awesome. Go, Brett. There we go. Okay, so now I've actually reviewed Brett. I've given him a star rating. And now with all of these applications, not only am I able to see which people have submitted an application, how close they are on our pipeline, on our hiring pipeline, I can compare them at the same time, right? So I have my ratings here. This is outstanding. This is outstanding. I see Carrie candidate, not doing so hot for this position, right? And I'll come back to that in one moment. But let's go and see, okay, well, Brett is doing awesome. Let's check out the quick overview. Whenever I'm ready, go back through these details, skills, resume, all of that good information. Now, back to Carrie candidate. Here's the frustration, like I mentioned earlier, where I have that one applicant that just wasn't right for that position, but they are a great applicant. But again, because this was however long ago that they reached out to me and submitted an application, and that's inside of my inbox, and I have to scroll through and try and find them, I'm not going to do that. I've forgotten about them. It's been a year, right? Well, because I have Carrie in here just as an individual, I can always come back and visit Carrie as a candidate for this particular position and say, okay, what actually went wrong? So if I do a quick overview of Carrie here, I can see, okay, Carrie has, okay, we have all basic information, nothing wrong there. Well, Carrie has 9 years experience in marketing, 9 years experience in print media, social media. It's like, well, no wonder I marked Carrie here as a bad candidate for this position. She's not good for sales, right? But she's a great marketer. So what I want to do is now hop into my other job openings, hop into that marketing executive position that I have open. And bing, I remember Carrie from last year when she tried to become a sales rep, and we thought that was a bad idea for her at the time. But now she's here applying again, and I can sync her straight to this new marketing executive position, right? So this is where I think Zoho solves a really, really big problem. And this is why of course, we do call this as a company, we call it applicant tracking system. It is an ATS. I like to call it an applicant matching system. I do, because this gets more to me doing the matchmaking that I'm supposed to, right? It's like we could be running a dating site in here with Zoho Recruit. If you've ever considered it, that's a business idea. But we see these lost opportunities that we constantly have. And I think that is a big pain point that we don't often get to handle because we're constantly trying to go back through that email, as I mentioned. Now, once I have a nice individual, I think they're a great candidate, I'm ready to submit them to the client, and I want to get into conversations with the client. I've done the heavy lifting. Now we're in the final stages, right? Well, of course, we go see our applications on this particular candidate, and I can see how far they're in on the pipeline. Okay, so Brett's not good. Maybe we'll come back to that. Flip between my job openings as needed. But now I can go in and actually submit this individual to the client directly from here. Now, why is that important? This isn't just another email to your client, because your client guaranteed is facing the same emailing problems as y'all. So I can come into this particular application and submit Brett here, because Brett is going to be a fantastic sales executive. I can submit him as a client, as a candidate to my own client. So we can see here, I know it's just a page of blah, but what's nice is I do have email templates. This is what it looks like to send out an email. So I'm going to have an email template, which looks real pretty. I get to customize it with whatever colors, add whatever information I would like. And I even have, we call them merge tags. Some people call them merge fields. I'm going to pull information from Brett's page and say, hey, client's name. That's, hey, Extra Life LLC. I have this great client, Brett, that I would like for you to look at. So I build all of this out and I send this as an email straight over to the client. Now, what's great is the client is able to hop into a portal as well, just like your candidates were into their candidate portal. But for the client, now what I'm seeing is basically just a really small version. I say small, it's the same interface, but it's kind of a small version of what we're already seeing in Recruit just for your clients. So now my clients hop in, they see, oh, this is me logged in as a client. Great, I've got 3 openings. There's a new registered nurse. Let's check out this sales executive position. And great, there's my submitted clients. And then right from here, I can sit and see that I've got Carrie who's ready to be reviewed. Right, so I'm going to read through all of this experience. Maybe this is my marketing executive position. Carrie's ready for it. 9 years experience. I start looking at the skills. Again, this is me as not someone in Zoho Recruit, but this is me as the client. I'm looking and thinking, dude, Carrie is great. Our recruit team is awesome. This recruiting company that we're going to, Carrie is pretty great, because last time I said awesome, everything almost died. But from here, we approve. And now, what does this solve for us? I have really, really simple, streamlined communication between me and the customer about this candidate. And that's the only thing we're doing, because that's all I need. I just need to know, hey, I found this candidate. I think they're great. I think you'll like them too. So I went ahead and pushed this over to you. What do you think? They just left their review. They give us a star rating, type out a couple of words. And then when I go back to that job opening, again, we're going back to our marketing executive. I look at all of the applications that I've had, and I can come in and see Carrie candidate. What happened here with this client submission? There was feedback. Great. And I can see Carrie looks like a great fit. Awesome. That's totally awesome. Now I can actually start working on, if y'all were here for the last session, an offer letter, right? Because you can build those out directly from here. It just pulls data from the candidate page and the application page that you have with that job opening, and it sends it out right to the customer. Now, another thing that I can do, of course, we do have interviews that I can create in here, and I can even create an interview for my candidate and my client to meet up at a particular time. Now, here's something that I think, and we're going to kind of change gears here because there's a couple of other things. Of course, we do have great client communication, but I want to schedule something for my client. Here's me hopping in as a client again, and I want to see what kind of interviews I have. Okay, I have an interview June 7th at 11 a.m. with Carrie. Okay, great. So I can see all of this information, but me as the recruiter in my staffing agency, how do I know that Brett, the person hiring at this actual company, is ready to have a meeting at this time? We're going to have some back and forth emails, or we're going to have to try and schedule that and communicate. And this is where I actually recommend that you integrate with the CRM. And one thing I want to, especially for y'all who are already using the CRM, why not just use the CRM for Recruit, right? And I think this is a big question a lot of people have, because you see the UI and they look very similar. I would say for all of the reasons that we just outlined, because when I go and I'm ready to post on a job board, I can't do that from the CRM. When I want to send emails to my customers and my clients rather, and my candidates, that's great. But now I've got a bunch of people all inside of one module, maybe 2 modules, and the emailing, it's not going to feel right. So here's my proposition to y'all. Run your business inside of Zoho CRM, but do your job inside of Zoho Recruit. Because y'all, especially if you're a staffing agency, y'all are here to hire people. Go into Zoho Recruit and do your hiring. But then on the other side, right, we have to handle actually running the business. We have to handle reaching out to these customers. How much is this going to cost them? How much are we charging? How much work is this really worth it? So we have a hiring pipeline for our candidates, but on top of that, we have a hiring pipeline, not a hiring pipeline, but a sales pipeline that we're going to manage inside of the CRM. And that's where I think the integration really comes into play, because these clients that I have, the clients module inside of Zoho Recruit, that client is actually just an account inside of Zoho CRM. And then the contacts that I have inside, this one's really crazy. You're not going to believe it. They're also contacts inside of Zoho CRM. That's pretty plain. But I now have the CRM where I have a deals pipeline I can keep track of. Okay, well, do I want to go through the process of job posting, or do I just want this to focus on the sales? Right? So now y'all get to manage multiple pipelines in multiple different locations. And then let's say, if anybody in here is using Zoho One, maybe you might be using Zoho Books. If I just want to charge somebody, I want to send an invoice, I want to send a recurring invoice, that's too easy to do through the Zoho Books integration in the CRM. Right? So again, now I'm focusing on getting paid, doing my job, making sure my company is running well inside of the CRM and the rest of Zoho's applications. But then I'm also just using Zoho Recruit to do what I'm really good at, which is matchmaking.